live on YouTube. Everyone in the Zoom call can see things, as far as I know. It looks like they can. All right, I have the chat open. Participants window. Cool. All right. So welcome to the November 4th, 2020 GSA board meeting. I actually, well, no, I'll go ahead and lead this one because we didn't discuss ahead of time, I guess. How to. Sorry. Lots of distractions today, as I'm sure many people can relate to. Welcome to the November 4th, 2020 GSA board meeting. As a quick sort of note of how things go down, at various points there might be a need to make motions. When there is, you can just make a motion in the chat window, and then you can also make a second in the chat window. And then we have Zoom polls that will run to do the voting. And then, what else am I forgetting? Oh yeah, and at certain points we may, open for comment, and at that point, if you wanted to unmute yourself, you could certainly unmute yourself. I am displaying video, but there is no need for anyone else to do so. So other than that, I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and get started. Calling to order at 6:35 p.m. Quick approval of the minutes. So the minutes were sent out as part of your Board of Directors meeting packet that you received from Steph earlier. If you look through that, there are the minutes from our last meeting, and we need a motion to approve. I also want to note at this time that if you are a Special Interest International Club representative who has not yet had your recognition voted on, you are still considered a non-voting board member tonight, and so you should not participate in voting polls. I see a motion from, oh yes, and I should mention that when you put a motion or a second, you should include your club. Motion from Anthropology and a second from GSC were the first two that I saw listed. So let me pull up the poll and launch that. I will give that another couple of seconds for folks. Alrighty. So as you can see, the motion passed with 56 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 abstaining. Next, we're going to move into announcements. So first we have Dr. Lena Bei Chang for the Network for Enhanced Academic Relationships. Lena, I believe you have screen share permissions and everything you would need, so whenever you're ready.
I do.
It's good to see you, by the way.
It's nice to see you, Connor. Okay. So my name is Lena Bei Chang, and I'm a professor and associate dean for faculty development at the School of Social Work, but I used to be the PhD program director back in a very, very happy part of my life, and I got to work with Connor there. So I am actually here to talk about NEAR, which people may have heard of. Hopefully. There we go. Are we good? Okay, Connor, I'm going to trust you to clue me in if there's a problem. So NEAR is a mentoring program that I started, launched it at the School of Social Work, but the intention always was for it to be a university-wide thing. Right after we started it in 2016, 2017, I think, the grad school took it over, which again was sort of always the plan. But I'm still involved and have recently become more involved because I think it's more important than ever that the PhD students in our community feel supported and are aware of the diverse forms of support available to you. So that is what I'm here. I just want to give a little bit of an overview, and I'm happy to also, of course, any questions and comments that people have. So NEAR stands for the Network for Enriched Academic Relationships. And what NEAR is basically is an online directory of faculty mentors. It's possible that staff who have PhDs will also be added in the spring semester. Anyway, it's an online directory of faculty mentors who are willing to talk with PhD students about issues that are commonly felt but uncommonly discussed. And so by that, what I mean is stress about work-life balance, imbalance, feelings of, and not just feelings, but experiences of marginalization, invisibility, and isolation. And also questions about fit with basically sort of anything to demystify academic culture. So the idea is that students who are experiencing these things, wondering about them, can connect through NEAR, this online network. So what's also important to understand about NEAR is how it works. So, and it works at a couple of different levels. So the first step is that faculty across the university basically create profiles and say, yeah, sure, I would happily be a mentor. When faculty are asked to create a profile, what that means is saying a little bit about their experiences, personal experiences as grad students, their approach to mentoring, what it means to them, why they do it, why they care. And then issues that they're willing to discuss with students. And again, these are issues that may not necessarily come up in conversation, like casual conversation with your chair, right? As you're talking about comps, for instance. From there, students can scan this online directory and you can just sort of browse as you wish. And if you want, sort of think about like, oh, that it's interesting that person has that experience. They might be somebody who, if I wanted, I could reach out to. If a student wants, they reach out. So the student initiating contact is a key piece, and I'll get to that. I'm going to try to, there's sort of the above board descriptions of how the program runs, but I also want to just say a little bit about the ideas and the strategies and the principles really that drive the design of NEAR, because I think that sometimes people are a little confused by some of the decisions. Okay, so if students want, they reach out. And from there, the student and the mentor that they've reached out to, could be 1, could be 10, totally up to the student. They connect however they want. And that might be a single email, it might be a single cup of coffee, it might become an ongoing sort of relationship and support system for the student. So the founding principles, though, of NEAR, right, and why it's designed this way are really important to me. I was a PhD student who would normally be tracked into particular things. I might be tracked based on race, based on class and immigrant background, based on sexual identity, right? All of these things. But I really resented the idea that anybody thought they knew what was most important to me based on the characteristics that they seemed to care most about. And it just struck me as incredibly presumptuous, right? At no time do we know what a person might want most support with, right? You might be a racial minority on a campus, but you might have a thriving support system off of that campus. What you really need on that campus is somebody who can help you figure out how do you manage taking care of your kids and getting through your dissertation, right? So to me, student autonomy and volition are key. And this is also true of faculty, right? But I think that relationships, all relationships should be based on consent and volition. And this includes mentoring relationships. I think I appreciate programs that are a little bit more designed, but I think that it's important to have also programs that are more flexible and self-directed for students. The other thing is that some mentors, just like some students, are going to like hit it off, right? Some people are going to have like nuggets of wisdom you might have great chemistry with a mentor, but there's no guarantee of that. I think it's important to value individual differences and the complexity of relationships, and not to presume that those things can or should be standardized. And so if you reach out to a faculty member, you may like what they have to say, but you also might not. And that, again, is totally fine. There is no manual that a faculty member gets through MIR about how to be a good mentor. We do some optional trainings. People can participate or not. We talk about why those things are important. But there's no element of MIR that is compulsory or that is standardized. And again, because I think that individual differences and the sort of like weird chemistry of relationships is a valuable thing. And if students have lots of autonomy and you're not assigned a mentor, then it's fine. You can, if you don't get along with someone, or maybe, you know, they're wonderful, but your schedules don't match up, you can kind of vote with your feet, right? You don't have to stay with and just be assigned to that person. And so as long as all parties have options, I don't think we need to dictate what the right way to have a relationship is. Okay, another important part of MIR is this directory. And the reason why we ask faculty to make comments and say and share a little bit about themselves, and also to share a picture of themselves, is because I imagine that there are many PhD students who just want to know that they're not the only one, that there are full professors walking around campus who have experiences or see the world, or the world treats them in ways that resonate. And they don't necessarily want to sit down and have a conversation. They don't need like ongoing, enduring support. They just need to see that they're not the only ones. They need to see the diversity in academia. And so much of academic culture actually trains us to not show those things, right? So faculty often look and act all the same. And that homogeneity, aside from being not great for faculty, I think it's really not useful to students, because you don't see all of the complexity of our lives. And you don't see all the different ways in which you maybe could make your own careers. And so to me, there's a lot of value in just having this directory that is available, but there's no expectation that you need to do more than that. Just know, if you're ever wondering and just kind of curious about faculty, you can go on the site and just check it out. So there are no presumptions. Again, that goes to the idea that we don't say like, oh, you checked these boxes on our identity category sheet, you must therefore want to be matched with this person. Because again, you know, we don't presume to know what is most important and what is most vexing to a person. That just seems problematic. So. Okay, and then another, and I think the final thing that I'm going to say is that you will hear a lot, particularly those of you who are racialized, you will hear a lot about the tax on minority faculty to support like initiatives, to support individual students, to sit on every committee, right, to be like the face of diversity. And you will likely be warned to not get sucked into that. So as a racial, sexual minority who's also a woman, I totally understand and appreciate the tax and that burden, but I reject really wholeheartedly the idea that the only option in a system that doesn't value contributions is to not contribute. I think that what we should be doing is value contribution and credit generosity. So rather than withdrawing from being more supportive of students and being mentors, I think that we should credit the faculty who do. And so Mirror is a way of giving faculty who do all of the extra work that helps students not just maintain in their programs, but actually thrive. It's a way that they can say, I do this extra mentoring that has nothing to do with my substantive area expertise, but has everything to do with my values, my principles, like my experience and what I have to share. And so at least in the school social work, our faculty can check off on their faculty annual reports that they serve as near mentors. And that's a thing that they then get credited for in terms of workload. You know, my vision of what a functional academic institution would be is that contributing and generosity is valued, and so it becomes the norm, and there isn't this sort of feeling of like, oh, I have to avoid these things because they don't count. I think that our relationships and the way we treat everyone in our community, I think that that counts, but we have to make it count. Okay. If you are, I'm happy to answer questions. If you are interested in learning more, you can, this is an active link. I will try to make it work. Although now with the screen share, I'm not sure if it will. Okay, is it? Awesome. Sometimes when you switch applications, right, it shuts down. So the website, you know, it's not like the fanciest. We're trying. I keep like putting in requests to change things, but that's slow. So, and understandably, like people in IT have a lot of things to deal with. If you want, you can look at faculty and just sort of click on names and see what they say. And again, if there's anybody who you're like, oh, I would like to talk to that person, then email. They are on this list because they are open to connecting and they are open to the conversation that you want to have. So I just encourage you to do that if you want, and also just to see that, you know, we all, faculty, we also have complicated lives, you know, and we've made it work. In more or less, and are really happy to be able to support you so that you're able to make it work and do more than that also. So I'm happy to take any questions. I'm going to stop sharing this now. And you can also dismiss me if you have no questions and you have more important things to, like, I know you have business to do. So.
Lena, Courtney from School of Social Work. Are all faculty in this program, or is it voluntary? Like, wants to be a mentor, like?
It is totally voluntary, which is why, right, there are not, yeah, it's a completely voluntary thing. So I'm actually doing another, like a sort of round of recruiting. But yeah, so it's totally voluntary, which it also kind of says something, I think. I will add though that there, and this is actually something that a grad student raised, and one of the a PhD student raised, is that there are not there are a lot of faculty from who are sort of Asian diasporas faculty. There are not many Black, there's I think one Black faculty member on here now, no Indigenous faculty, and there's one faculty member who I know identifies as Latina. So that's a thing that actually is sort of, my attention was drawn to that. And so I've been doing a lot of individual outreach to my colleagues because I recognize that that's like a very important part of visibility, actually. And to making sure that UB feels like it is a community for many people.
Thank you.
Is this program available for master's students?
So it's designed for PhD students because of the particular demands. And like by particular demands, I don't mean more necessarily. What I mean are like the weird idiosyncrasies of what it means to be training to go into academia, like as a lifestyle. So right now, and because we're still building it, it's really specific to PhD life and what it means to thrive in an and contribute to an intellectual community, including when you have all of these other things going on in your life that can complicate that, including how you are seen or misseen on the campus. I'm easy to find. It's not like, it's kind of funny when people give their emails out, because it's not like there's not the Google, but in case it's easier, I put my email, I was gonna say I just chatted it privately to Connor, who gets more than enough email from me. Okay. So my email is in the chat, and if people have questions or anything they want to find out more, feel free to get in touch with me. Yeah, and I appreciate your time. Thank you all.
Yep, I'm here. No, I should be good. Let me just start my camera. There we go. All right, so my name is Lauren Smolin. I'm a second year doctoral student in the English department, and I wanted to come and speak to the GSA because I am currently running unopposed for the position of business agent within the GSEU. And so what that means more or less is that the business agent is the sort of de facto head of the union at UB. They are the legal representation to the state for all full-time graduate student TAs and GAs. So that means that the BA can advocate for the contract we sign every 3 years. They represent graduate student interests here. And in any department or university conflict or meeting that you might, come across or have, you can have union representation, and that can include myself or the two chief stewards, Hakan and Adewale. So that's sort of what the position is and how that will function. So like I said, I'm running unopposed and will step into this position on December 1st. And so I mostly wanted to introduce myself. The current BA has been in the role for 6 years, and so this will be a bit of an adjustment as we move into someone else who will be taking over. And so I sent out an email that I'm hoping went to most of you to see if you had the time for me to come to your October or November GSA meeting, just to sort of, again, introduce myself, see the members of your GSA, and to hear how your departments are currently working and to see how things are going during the pandemic. So my thoughts towards the spring semester mostly, and these are the things that I sort of wanted to share with you, are thinking predominantly towards graduate student fees, especially full-time doctoral students. We pay so much for these sort of fees and for these services that we either aren't receiving adequately to begin with, or we need them to teach. And of course, faculty don't pay for them. Because that would constitute a pay-to-work system, which is illegal. So that, talking about fees and talking about particularly in the realm of CAS, because that's sort of where I'm housed, and we had some issues with the letter that was given to us saying that we would, have our fees covered and then having that rescinded. And so fees are a huge priority for me. Stony Brook University had a fee strike over the past month or so and successfully got their fees covered moving forward. And so thinking towards what we can do, what I can do at an administrative level in negotiating with HR and negotiating with, whoever else, and then thinking about what we can do as graduate students and organize towards, some sort of abolition of graduate student fees for these particular services. And then sort of in addition to that, I'm hoping to help streamline the healthcare process. I know that it can be a bit of a hassle to get onto the correct healthcare, especially as a TA, right? You have the our health insurance, and then you have the student health insurance, which is so much more expensive, and it can be very easy to accidentally sign up for the wrong one. And so my hope is to sort of make that process a bit easier, take the burden off of us as students to figure it out ourselves when it can be sort of done at an administrative level. So those two things are particularly important to me moving forward. But part of why I'm here is to say that the union represents all of us, full-time graduate students and TAs and GAs. And so the things that we choose to organize around or the things that we choose to advocate for should be the things that we are all hoping for. And so I am also going to put my email in the chat, and that I want to hear what are the things that are important to you, important to your department, how you want to see the union function moving forward. The position of business agent is a 3-year position, so I have the capacity to work over several years and hopefully make some sort of meaningful change. And I really want that to be a change that is, a rank and file driven by members, driven by the TAs and GAs on this campus. So again, if you're an RA, the GSCU doesn't currently represent RAs because of some sort of private versus public union division. But if you ever have a question about your contract or about your healthcare, your stipend, your fees, etc., I'm certainly happy to help and happy to take a look at it and do what I can. But again, my general interest or my general representation is for the TAs and GAs, which I know isn't everyone, but mostly I just wanted to introduce myself. If you are part of the GSCU already, and if you are, I would obviously encourage you to sign a union card. You'll begin receiving emails from me starting December 1st. And so I wanted to just sort of put a face to a name. And I suppose I'm happy to answer questions you might have, but I really also, you can email me now, you can email me on December 1st. And I'm happy just to either also come and visit your specific GSA too, if you have the time and, are interested in having me just talk to your members and whatnot. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me just sort of introduce myself and think towards what the GSCU can do moving forward.
All right. Are there any? It sounds like there might not be any questions for you. But thank you so much for speaking and introducing yourself. All right. So since it doesn't seem there are any questions, I'm going to move on to the next point, which is our program announcements. So Courtney, are you around?
I am here. Thank you, Connor. Hi, everyone. So I've been working on some exciting new things to offer you guys. We had a great turnout in the past month for Chipotle gift cards. So we are actually going to be releasing more of those later this month on November 30th. So if you already got a gift card, you won't be eligible for this next batch. So we can get out a gift card to anybody who might be interested that missed out on the first administration. We still have our Hatchets and Hops vouchers available, and they are open. So if that is something that you want to be doing and following their health guidelines, that is something we still have available for you. We will also on Monday be coming out with Canal Side ice skating vouchers. So what you'll get with your ticket, which will be emailed to you, they are for free, and you will be getting admissions, skate rentals, and a food and beverage voucher. And then as planned on November 16th, more free Tim Hortons gift cards will be available to you. So if you have any questions about any of that, we are trying to shift mostly towards email vouchers, but if you haven't noticed already, we do have that mail option for the Tim Hortons gift cards are something you would have to pick up, for example, as well as the Hatchets and Hops vouchers. So at checkout, if you do not feel comfortable coming to campus, you can always choose for a flat rate of $2 to have the gift card mailed to you. So if you have any questions about any of that, you can email me at gsa-programming@buffalo.edu. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Courtney. Jen, are you here for the MDR report?
I am not here for it, but I can talk about it.
Okay.
Hi, all. I'm Jen. I'm the MDRF director. We recently had our fall 2020 grant cycle process. So we had all of the applications submitted by September 18th, and then we had our review councils in mid-October. We were able to fund just over half, more than half. So as you can see here, we funded 60 applications for a total of $30,995. The next grant cycle will be for spring 2020. Those applications will be due in February. All of that information can be found on our website. The shortcut is just gsa.buffalo.edu/MDRF. If anyone has any questions, I can throw my email address into the chat as well. You can reach out and ask me any questions that you might have about MDRF.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen. Another final announcement, the GSA will be closed for fall recess from Wednesday, November 25th through Friday, November 27th. This, represents the time that we would normally be closed for Thanksgiving anyway. Our office has been closed the whole semester, but we won't be responding to any emails, Wednesday through Friday. And then, we'll come back on that following Monday, and we will be able to answer all of your emails and concerns then. Report of the president. Jay, I hand it to you.
Hi, everyone. I am Jay. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm here to talk about a resolution. It's a resolution to oppose the university imposed graduate student fees. So it's in your packet. Connor, when you get a chance, can you, oh, never mind. It's in your packets. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to check over it. If not, you can read over it now. I'm gonna go through it a little bit, but honestly, this thing is very, very long. So if you could skim it, that would be great. I'm gonna just probably skip over the things that like talks about like, the facts or whatever, like regular things that we already know. Yeah, I'm hoping that we can have a vote on this tonight. But I'm also open to edits that we may need to make or things that we need to add. It's already pretty long, but maybe we missed something. And if so, we'll go back and edit it. So like I said, this resolution is to oppose the university impose graduate student fees. So if you're looking at the resolution, whereas the comprehensive fee was increased by 2.03% for the 2021 academic year, whereas the University of Buffalo modified its comprehensive fee waiver policy, only allowing students in exclusively online degree programs to apply for waivers during the midst of the global COVID-19 pandemic, whereas the estimated cost of living for a single adult in Buffalo, Erie County as of 2019 is $25,271. Whereas the University of Buffalo spends a higher percentage of total salaries on administrative spending than any peer institution. And these facts that I'm about to state, these come from the Living Stipend Movement. They had the professor, I think it's pronounced Buzzes, come in and do an independent audit. So these things that I'm listing are from that report. So whereas the University of Buffalo could save over $23 million if their administrative spending was at the average level of peer institutions. And then whereas in August 2019, CAS, College of Arts and Science, promised to provide supplemental funding to cover the fees for people that were funded. Lawrence mentioned this earlier, whereas in March 2020, the College of Arts and Sciences went back on this promise. Whereas the University of Buffalo has the financial capacity to support graduate students, especially during the midst of a global pandemic, despite the October 12th email we all got from President Tripathi saying that the university was broke and that we're struggling. Whereas mandated student fees continue to be a significant financial burden. I don't have to tell you all that. Whereas the graduate student employees in terminal degree programs at Stony Brook University will no longer be required to pay any broad-based fees, as Lawrence mentioned earlier. And then the last one that I talked about, and I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but for graduate students, and I think I'm not really sure how it is with the undergrads, but this year, graduate students that need to stay in their apartments over the break are going to be charged an average of $42 per night. So we did want to include this in the resolution because we obviously feel like that's messed up to be charging students to live in their homes over break when they've never been charged before. So this last one is just talking about how the university is charging students to stay in their homes during a global pandemic. So moving on to the now, therefore, it be resolved. The graduate student body of the University of Buffalo strongly supports the efforts of the Living Stipend movement led by graduate assistants at the University of Buffalo and calls on President Tripathi, Provost Weber, Vice Provost Hamill, and the University at Buffalo administration to take immediate action to waive all university imposed graduate fees for the 2020-2021 academic year. All graduate broad-based fees collected so far should be reimbursed in full. The University of Buffalo Graduate Student Association calls for the elimination of all broad-based fees for graduate students beginning in spring 2021. The University at Buffalo Graduate Student Association supports holding the College of Arts and Sciences accountable for reversing their promise to provide supplemental funding to all fully funded PhD students beginning in the 2020-2021 academic year. The University at Buffalo Graduate Student Association will send a letter of support to the leadership of the Graduate Student Employee Union. The University of Buffalo Graduate Student Association will continue to stand in support and to call attention to any issues affecting graduate students at the University at Buffalo. The University at Buffalo Graduate Student Association will continue to hold the University at Buffalo accountable for their exploitation of graduate students. The University at Buffalo Graduate Student Association calls for elimination of additional fees for students to stay on campus housing during the winter break. So as you can see, it's really long. If anybody has any insights or thinks that something should be added to the resolution, you can let us know. If you have any comments or need further clarification about some of the points, I'd be happy to answer them. But if no one has any comments, then we're going to take a vote on this resolution. I don't know if that means we should start to do the vote or not. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so let me look. I think that it's reasonable to refund all fees. I don't believe that the university is nearly as broke as they say they are. I also know that the university administration, like the president makes $500,000, and I think that's underestimating. So yes, I do think it's reasonable to refund all fees. I don't think that graduate students should be being charged fees, especially when they're already exploiting our labor and not paying us anything.
Yeah, just to jump in on this, the resolution specifically is talking to about the broad-based fees. So these are the academic excellence and success fee that has been controversial in the past, and then the comprehensive fee, which is your athletics. Well, we don't pay the athletics fee, but you know,
transportation. There's a new career services fee, which Connor and I were just in a meeting about this, about the fees and stuff like that. So we're not talking about like the fees that like fund GSA, but we're talking about the fees that like, you know, we don't really know where they're going. Are we really benefiting from it? I was in a meeting the other day and I found out that the college fee that we're charged is used to fund the police department on campus. So like a lot of us don't even know exactly where our fees are going, and it's for things that we wouldn't even agree with.
All right, though, I did see a motion to approve from nursing and a second from comparative literature. So I will go ahead and send out that motion or that resolution vote. Gonna give it another couple seconds. All right. So sharing the results, we have 51 in favor, 2 opposed, 4 abstained, so the motion passes. The resolution is enacted.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Do you have anything else, Jay?
Not really. Oh, someone has a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hi. I'm Dikshit this side. I'm from IIC GSA. I just have a question that if we suggest this resolution to the university and if they approve it, so like how long is it gonna take, or like from the university to give the decision on this thing?
What specifically, like everything in there, or
Yeah, everything in there. So with the report, we are gonna send this to the university, right?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. What did you say?
So we are gonna send this resolution to the university, right? Our resolution, which is there in this PDF, suggesting that the refund of the fees should be issued.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do with the resolution is that we're going to send it to like UB Spectrum. We're going to obviously send it to administration. The problem is that the university doesn't really care.
Okay.
Like they don't really care. Like this is not the first time a resolution has been written about like the fees.
Alright.
And like they just don't care. So but we're hoping that if we make enough noise that we can do something about it. Today I was interviewed by Channel 7 News along with 2 other graduate students. Well, they were graduate students from the law school, and then we were talking about, you know, how they're charging people per night, and then also just like the fees. So we're
Yeah.
hoping at like getting like public attention and like writing or like telling people about it outside of like actual UB will like kind of put some fire under them.
Right.
But I'm not super hopeful. So we're just hoping like working along with like the Living Stipend Movement and GSEU that we can really do something, because it's very like, it's encouraging to see that Stony Brook able to get this to happen.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
I see another question in the chat. It says, does this apply to members of the medical school as well? I know that there are a couple different programs in Jacobs School for Medicine Biomedical Sciences. The ones that are MD programs are not technically covered under this resolution because we're specifically, actually, well, we do say graduate students. I don't know. That's a question. We could. I would not be opposed to aligning with like medical school polity if they had, you know, a similar thing they wanted to do. But I also wouldn't want to like legislate a resolution on their behalf, you know, without their input or consent or whatever, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know how you're thinking, Jay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. Like, obviously, like, you know, it's hard to say because I know the medical school is like literally their own entity in themselves, and they don't even really like sometimes want to be like combined with us. So I would definitely have to talk to them. But yeah, I could also bring it up in the Cole meeting. So hopefully we'll like pass this. Like hopefully Cole can like endorse it, which if people don't know, Cole is it's like a group that has representation from every student government. So they have it from law school, they have it from med school, dentistry, pharmacy. So we get together like every I think we're gonna meet like 7 times this year, and we like are able to like pass resolutions, support resolutions, and like we're able to use like our combined voices and say like this is what the students of UB want. So that's hopefully we can bring it to Cole and some other places and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's for the med school. And then, yes, I see the follow-up was sort of clarifying any of the PhD students under the med school. Yes, so any PhD students in Jacob School are, being supported by this resolution. The resolution does specifically refer to the College of Arts and Sciences because of a promise that they made and then, went back on. But the argument to, stop pushing broad-based fees is an argument, or we're arguing that for all PhD students, including under the Jacob School. Are there any lingering questions?
If you have any questions, you can feel free to send them to me, or if you think there should be like maybe I don't know, this may not be the only resolution we do. Like
Right.
chances are there's not. So if you'd like to be a part of that or have things like you want to add for future resolutions and stuff like that, or want to work on it with me or us, just hit me up. My email is, I'll put it in the chat.
Sounds great.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Report of the Vice President. All right, so I'm here to let you know that now that GSA is a corporation, which is something that, a process that we'd started last year and had finalized, or started maybe before last year. I don't know. Time is wild right now, y'all. But we are a corporation, and so club constitutions need to be updated to bylaws. This was something that was going to be coming down eventually. We're putting the word out now and hoping to have it, done by February. We're going to be sending out some emails on Monday, so just let your club officers know maybe to be expecting that. It's going to have some very specific changes you need to make. Primarily, it's something like constitution in your language needs to be changed to bylaws, and senator needs to be changed to board of directors member. Those are like the two main things. There might be some other little details, but they should be pretty. The directions, I've looked over them, they seem pretty clear. If you do have any questions, you can reach out to me. We're asking you to prepare these updated drafts and send them my way. So GSA-vice-president at buffalo.edu. That will also be in the email that you receive. Send them my way to be reviewed for compliance. And that way, once I look it over and say like, yes, this would follow all the rules, then you can get it approved by your club. And then that will put you totally in compliance. So we're asking you to have these, done by Monday, February 15th, although there's certainly no harm in getting started earlier. Moving into the report of the treasurer, Josh.
Hi, everybody. So report of the treasurer. So our PPP loan has been conditionally approved for forgiveness in full by the bank. We're just awaiting official SBA review and approval, so it's still going through the process. That was what we applied for back in the spring. I think I want to say it was like April or May or sometime. So we're just hearing back that it's been conditionally approved. There was a lot of people that were applying for them right off the bat when COVID started coming around. So I'm good on that slide. All right. So, Finance Committee met last week. We discussed policy expenses. So concluded that in-person activities they're still prohibited. So for clubs can use supplies that are required for the pumpkin carving events. Art supplies for virtual painting nights. Equipment that you can use for holding virtual events where you're still, meeting virtually and you're still sharing the experience. The UB ticket office, whenever clubs can write a proposal that addresses health and safety regulation compliance review. Helps in case you guys want to, you want to give out supplies to people. You have to be able to sign a waiver and go through that. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Stephanie, Gina, Connor, or Jay. Food and beverages for virtual events will not be allowed, as they are not required in order to hold virtual events. This kind of goes back to the virtual events are not, the purpose of the event is to get together, It's not just the food is not for the event. Clubs may instead choose to offer digital gift card giveaways to you that are related to other each student line, but to offer was expenses office cover the mailing. University is still limiting student travel funding to registration expenses for virtual conferences only. A lot of people are applying for virtual conference. Obviously, as long as deadlines, it's still kind of. All right, so we don't have any funding requests this month. So obviously all of our funding account balances continues. Go to the next slide. Conference funding, and 6 people requested funding and 6 people, okay, go ahead. I'm all set. Go ahead, Connor. It's okay.
Alrighty. Old business, moving into the UBQ petition for voting privileges. So if you all recall, this was a petition that was presented at the October 7th board meeting, and so now I will reread it, and then we will vote on its approval. So this is in your packets, but just to review the text of it. The reason for petition, it says, the mission of the university includes efforts in diversity. The UBQ Grad Club exists as a space for LGBTQ+ grad students to get together, socialize, and continue the pursuit of equality for the community. In order to fully recognize this within the GSA sphere, we believe that voting privileges are a step towards achieving our voice in this government. Are there any questions for UBQ about there weren't any questions last time, but are there any questions this time? And if not, then we can do a motion and a second for this petition. Motion from nursing and second from comparative literature. Here comes the poll. All right, I'm going to give it a couple more seconds, so get your votes in if you haven't, and if you're eligible to vote. Alrighty, sharing the results now. You can see that it is 52 in favor, 2 opposed, and 3 abstained. Voting privileges have been granted to UBQ. Congratulations. Moving to the next slide. So we've got some new business. We've got club recognition, funding requests, and approval of election code and code of conduct. So first up, club recognition. We don't have any international clubs up for recognition this time, but we do have a special interest club, Grad SWE. They do have a sheet in your packet, but now I'm going to ask somebody from Grad SWE to, if they can get on mic and share a little bit about their club, that would be great. Or if you can't get on mic, you can always type it in the text chat.
Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Snigdha Gupta, President of GradSWE at UB. This club is dedicated towards helping our graduate students specifically. So in the past 1 year, we have held many sessions and panel discussions. We've had representatives from huge companies like Google, Adobe, Cummins, and many others. we also had a September webinar series where we helped graduate students with building their LinkedIn profile and doing the right job hunt in the right manner, getting to know about companies like Microsoft or even the state authority of New York's and the current strength of the graduate SWE at UB is 290 members, and we are going strong. We have members from all sorts of departments, whether it's data science, computer science, even PhD students, and we help even PhD students get connected with their research. If they want some volunteers or if they want research partners, we help them get that as well. We are an affiliation and a section of the Society of Women Engineers. So we also promote women in technology, and we also promote that men help women in tech. So the idea is to promote the 50% women participation in the technology field, and that can only be both the ally as well as women are able to power through and empower themselves. So yeah, this is what GradSWE at UB has been about. We had our first election in the month of July, and all the elected representatives have been tirelessly working towards the betterment of this particular club and all the members who are associated with this club. And we hope that this club can help even further on. If there are any questions, I am open to answer them.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't see any questions. So if there are no questions, then I just need somebody to make a motion and a second for GradSWE's approval at the recommended amount. I can't have GradSWE approve yet because they're not a recognized club, but I can motion from Anthro and second from Comparative Literature. That does work. So I will go to club recognition and launch that poll.
Connor, am I also supposed to vote?
No, you would not vote. You are not a, yeah. As a special interest club, you would need to apply for voting privileges anyway, but especially you're not recognized yet until after this poll. So there's also that part. So you would not vote on this one. Going to give it a few more seconds. Alrighty. So sharing the results, you can see that it's 50 in favor, 1 opposed, and 4 abstain. So Grad SWE has been approved, and GradSWE is now a recognized, will be a recognized club, or is a recognized club from us. There might be some other, you might need to create a UB Link page still or something, but other than that, you should be good to go. So thank you so much. Yeah, all right. No problem. Cool. Moving into the next step of the meeting. There are no funding requests, so we skip right over that. To the approval of the election code and code of conduct. I don't know if we have somebody from election committee who is prepared to sort of speak on this, or I can just outline the main information that's on the slide. It's up to you.
Yeah, Connor, I'll go ahead and grab the ball here.
Perfect.
Pretty brief. Let's turn on my video. So hi everyone, my name is Daniel, chair of this year's election committee. If you look on page 12, that's where you'll find the election code of conduct. Pretty comprehensive document that this sort of, describes the petitioning process where you actually, campaign and start getting your signatures up until expectations of candidates, what you do once you're selected, the ballot process and tabulating them. As I said, very comprehensive. I don't think it's necessary to go through all the details, but some of the main changes that the committee made I'll go through. So section 2.1, this wasn't necessarily a change, but I just want to clarify for the actual petitions. If you are chosen as a candidate, you will be provided electronic forms, as I understand it, so that you can collect digital signatures. So obviously it's not going to be feasible to run around collecting signatures in person. So again, that's more of just a clarification. The major change we made, section 2.5 in petitions still. So I believe last year, this section required would-be candidates to attend at least 2 meetings in the past 12 months. We've changed that to at least 1 meeting. So obviously, if you're here now, that would satisfy your meeting requirement. 1 board of directors meeting, sorry, if that's not clear, anyone can jump out and ask. But essentially, you just need to have attended 1 board of directors meeting in the last 12 months, in addition to the other conditions outlined in section 2.5. We felt that, this would allow anyone who had not attended a meeting to sort of, attend the December 2nd meeting, I believe, so that they could satisfy that requirement to petition for candidacy. And then we also removed the amendment. It's not in the document, obviously, because that was a stipulation that was in place last year to move the election from spring 2020 to fall of 2020. That's hopefully not going to be an issue this coming year, this coming election. So that's the code of conduct. On the last page is the election. I forgot the actual name of the document, but it's essentially just a document that you sign to sort of submit your name for candidacy, and it just sort of has stipulations that you have to sort of agree to by signing and submit that to sort of become a prospective candidate. So that's all I have to update on. If anyone has any questions, happy to chat through it.
All right, it seems like there might not be any questions. So if we have a motion and a second. All right, let's see. I see motion from anthropology, second from SGSA. So I will go ahead and launch that poll. There you go. I'll give that another few seconds because it looks like most people have answered it. Alrighty, ending the poll, sharing the results. So you can see 54 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstaining. So the election code and code of conduct are approved. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Daniel, for sharing and answering questions, even though there weren't questions, but volunteering to answer questions. Moving into roll call and adjournment. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting and a second for that, and then you will be free to go after that is voted on. Motion from ISE-GSA, second from UBQ, exercising the new voting and motioning rights. You'll love to see it. Alrighty. A couple more seconds. All right, sharing results. It is 56 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstained. Thank you everyone so much for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will stick around in case you have any sort of one-on-one questions, but you are free to go. We'll stop the YouTube stream next.
Hi, Connor.
Hello.
I have a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.